This is the Magus of NECROMANTIA and YOTH IRIA, and you are listening to Heavy Demons radio show.
Okay, dear Magus, YOTH IRIA, how would you describe to the fans the amazing sound of As the Flame Withers?
Look, YOTH IRIA for me it's black metal. Because black metal for me is not just like hyper speed and screams and everything all the time. Black metal is all about feeling and atmosphere. So in my black metal perspective, it's from Merciful Fate to Dark Funeral and to many other bands that fit in the spectrum. Of course, there are a lot of variations, meaning each band has its own style and includes its various influences. The thing with YOTH IRIA is like me and Jim were kind of old now, okay, and we grew up with a lot of heavy metal stuff before black metal was even became a genre. So what we like to listen to, you can hear it in our music. Not consciously, but unconsciously. It's whatever we listen to, of course, it gets filtered through ourselves and goes through the music. So we can say that YOTH IRIA is a little bit on the more the heavy metal sounding, like what people have as black metal in their minds today.
Well, shall we expect something like a live activity in the future with YOTH IRIA?
For YOTH IRIA, yes. I have already hired a singer for this because I don't play live shows.
Okay.
I don't like live shows. I don't like live shows, not even watching. Maybe I like for some heavy metal stuff or thrash. But black metal for me, it's not something that to be experienced in a live show. It's something you experience alone. That's why I say I may like some traditional heavy metal stuff to go in a live show and have some beer with my friends and bang my head and have a good time. Black metal is not for this.
Yeah.
For me. Okay, it's my personal opinion.
You contributed in a determinant way to the Greek metal sound. How did you manage to forge it, and which is its peculiarity in your opinion?
First of all, I didn't forge anything. I just liked to play music. I just liked to express myself through music, express my darker self through music. And I expressed what it came naturally to me. I didn't do anything on purpose. In a way, I understand that since we are from the pioneers, like Rotting Christ and Varathron, we did influence a whole generation of bands, either consciously or in an unconscious way. And the reason for that is because we were always looking to find our own identity. And we never hesitated to use things that may sounded, especially back then, in the early 90s, seemed unusual for black metal. We used things because our music was made in a cinematic way. We wanted our music to create images and feelings to the listener. We wanted our music to generate pictures in the head of the listener.
Yeah.
Dark pictures, sinister pictures. Still, we wanted this to be the key part to our music. Not just rock and roll, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We wanted to generate strong feelings and strong atmospheres and strong images. That's why sometimes we went out of the norm. And probably this is the reason that in a way or another we may influence a lot of bands, not directly, but indirectly.
Okay.
Our peculiarity in Greek, we always give much more attention to melody and atmosphere than our Scandinavian counterparts, for example.
Mm-hmm.
The Greek bands always had a special atmosphere, a special melody,
Yeah.
less aggression than Scandinavia, much more atmosphere, much more melody. I think that is our peculiarity.
Yeah. Can you share a memory, either as a person and as a musician, of Baron Blood?
The best memory I have is when we started writing the material for our promo tape 1990.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the end of 1989 when we gathered at his place. We took our basses, we opened some candles and a fine cognac,
Mm-hmm.
and we were writing music until the morning.
Oh.
We started around 10, I don't remember, something like that, and we were writing music until the morning for hours. It's something that I have never done again. It was spontaneous. It was like a source of ideas coming out of you, like a stream, and it's an experience I never had with any other musician in my musical career so far.
Which are your best memories for Thou Art Lord, and shall we expect something in the future?
Okay, it will actually be announced tomorrow.
Oh.
So you're the first to know.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We will release, we're working on, we will release a 7-inch EP with 2 new songs. It will be released via the Circle Music. It will be available only through mail order, will not be available in distributors or shops. And it's something that we felt we had to do with Sakis, because that was always like our punching bag, if you know what I mean. We were getting things out through the Lord. We didn't care for originality. We didn't care for to create something unique. We just play. And these 2 new songs are in the vein of the early stuff of our Lord. It's me based on vocals, Sakis guitars also, and some backing vocals, and Yannis Vocis, who played in the NECROMANTIA album, will play drums on it.
Okay, and what do you remember about being Thou Art Lord way back in the 90s?
That started as an entertaining band for ourselves. Actually, the idea came in Go Underground. It was a record shop back in the days in Greece. A lot of people from bands were hanging around there or passing there. And the guy that owned the place was releasing some 7 inches for bands here and there. And it was me and Sakis at one point of the shop, and he does say, "Hey, why don't you join forces and release something together?" And we said, "Okay, yeah, why not?" Especially when you are younger, you have a lot more time, more free time in your hands.
Definitely.
And I think it was Gunther of Ancient Rights also there. If not the same day, maybe the next one. And that's why we immediately recorded 3 songs, and one was destined to become a split 7-inch with Ancient Rights. So it was a spontaneous idea, and we never regretted ever since. But Our Idol is a band that it's always like like how the serpents are doing in the winter. Yeah. It's always there, but it's sleeping. Okay. And whenever we decide, whenever we feel Whenever we feel the need to do something, we do it. Otherwise, it goes back to sleep. It's never split up. It's never fully active, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. And how much fun did you have back then with Diabolos Rising and Raism?
Ah, that's another story altogether, because I had a crazy guy with me, Mika from
Yeah,
Mountain Lazarus.
Mika Luttinen, yeah.
Um, that was also done when he was back in the days. His wife was a diplomat, and she was stationed at the Belgian embassy in Greece
Oh,
for a couple of months, three, I think, maybe 3 or 4, maybe. So they were staying here in Greece, in Athens, uh, for many weeks. And we hang around with Mika, and we even had vacation together in the summer. And that was also decided spontaneously to form an industrial band in a satanic vein. I remember we called Hervé from Osmos Productions on the phone and said, "Hey, we have this crazy idea. Are you going to back it up? If yes, we can immediately go to the studio and start working on it." And Hervé said, "Yes, go for it." And that's how Diabolos Rising started. And then Resm. Then I think whatever I do, it has cycles. So whenever I feel that the cycle is completed, I stop it. I close the circle and move to something different. Resm, it was supposed to be a continuation of, like a continuation of Diabolos Rising, but on a different level.
yeah.
In some parts, much more electro, much more harsh. The truth is that I'm not that satisfied with the EP that we released. It came out a little bit boring in a way, artistically. But the album was great. It fulfilled its purpose, and we didn't have anything more to give, so we stopped it.
Yeah.
I don't feel that if you do not have anything else to give or create as an artist, there's no reason to keep releasing albums. And this is one of the, since I'm not a professional musician, I may have released a lot of albums, but I'm not a professional. And that gives me the luxury to make music whenever I feel to.
Yeah.
Not whenever I have to, whenever I feel to.
Well, now let's come to fencing. Which are your specialties in this field?
I'm doing this historical European martial arts called HIMA, or it's more or less historical fencing, since 2005. The last 5 years, I'm more focused on the Iberian systems of the Iberian Peninsula, and specifically the Spanish systems of 17th century. Since you are doing Kali, you told me.
Yeah,
You are doing
Kali Eskrima, yeah.
You are doing Kali Eskrima. Even the name Eskrima is Spanish in a way. So Kali Eskrima has a lot of influences from the Spanish systems of the time. And the reason I'm focused on this system, the Spanish system of 17th century, is because I find it's a system that it's based a lot, actually not based, because all fencing is science, all fencing is geometry and physics, and instinct if you put the human factor. But the Spanish system that evolved in the late beginning of end of 16th century and more in the 17th century is using science as a pedagogy tool. it teaches you fencing through science. When I mean through science, it teaches you fencing in a way that says, okay, you failed, you got hit because you were not positioned this way,
Yeah.
because this way it has a superior angle, this way it has the pressure on your weapon is different, was not the one needed for you to dominate your opponent, etc., etc. And it's a complete system that is referred to a lot of weapons, from the single sword to the two-hand sword, to sword and dagger, sword and shield, etc.,
Okay.
etc., etc. That's why I'm focused on that, and actually, it's my passion for a lot of years.
So you know something also about the Italian school of fencing?
I was doing Italian before I switched to the Spanish. No, their approach is different. I mean, the bodies are the same, the weapons are very similar, but the approach is different.
Okay.
The Italian way is it's a little bit more aggressive in a way. And on the contrary, the Spanish systems has your safety first,
Okay.
because it's a self-defense system. So it's you it's like fencing. It's two things. One is don't get hit. Second is hit the other guy, but in this order.
Okay. Okay.
And imagine that in this system, we are talking about 17th century, where Catholicism was very powerful in Spain, and also Spain was a great nation back then. So the disarm in the system is considered the highest of techniques, because you don't have to kill your opponent.
Okay.
You don't have to wound him. If you take his weapon, he has to surrender. Of course, the maestro says that if he does not surrender, you have to finish the job. But, as I said, because the Christian ethics of Catholicism was very powerful back then, the disarm was considered highest because you neutralize your opponent without actually wounding him or killing him.
Yeah, and which are your thoughts about the weapon martial arts from the southeast of Asia, like Kali Eskrima, which of course have been influenced by the Spanish conquerors somehow?
I've done some Kali Eskrima for a year and a half because I wanted to improve the coordination of my hands using two weapons.
Yeah.
And it helped me a lot. These are different systems because they are, most of them were invented by the people for the people. That's why you see the weapons are crude. It's a stick or it's just a big knife. There's not much elaboration as in the European system of 17th century in general, which were referred to a higher class in a way.
Yeah.
So these systems are more folkish in a way, practical, very practical also. But if you study them deep and you see deep enough in the context they were born, you will see that there is sophistication. Maybe not visible because there are not many books or treatises written by the maestros.
Yeah.
But there is sophistication which has been generated through the experience. For me, I don't think that there's any weapon martial art system that is bad. Everything is good. Everything has had a purpose for the time and the place that it was born. There are a lot of people asking me what will happen if late medieval knights in full armor were clashing with samurai in a battle. Concerning equipment, samurai would lose. Okay.
Yeah.
Military technology was much higher in the West. If we speak technically, the full armored European knights will crush the samurai.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for me, in a battle, let's not come in a battle, because in a battle is won by generals mostly, not by armies. Let's say in a duel, the best fighter would win. All systems are good. It depends how the one who is it depends on the user of how he uses it. So the best warrior wins, not the system.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you find any similarities between like music and fencing somehow?
Somehow, yes, because in Europe, in 18th century, 17th century, the fencing masters were also teaching dance,
Yeah. Yeah.
and dance, fencing, and music requires tempo. Requires tempo, requires rhythm, internal rhythm. I mean. Uh, Requires abrupt changes in tempo, like music, like a song, like a symphony. Requires good coordination. And if, for example, good coordination of your limbs, of your body, like in a band, if the musicians are not coordinated well, the result is shit. There are, of course, similarities. As I said, there is this internal rhythm. Although we are kind of lucky today that the weapons we are studying in HEMA, lucky, we do not use them for actual self-defense in the streets. I'm not gonna wear my sword on the street and have to defend myself when another guy with a sword challenge me or insult me or anything like that. We are studying from the luxury and the safety of our sport, in a way, if you know what I mean. Therefore, when you fence with somebody in the school or in a tournament, you know that you will not die if you lose.
Yeah.
This is good and this is bad. This is good because you don't die, you get to fence another day. But this is bad because sometimes you lose the respect for the weapon. That's why you do historical fencing and not sport fencing. You should treat the weapon with respect, that this weapon will hurt you. Okay, that changes your psychology completely. And whoever says in our community that, okay, we do real martial art and real battle and real fight, no. None of us will kill each other. So actually, we're not real. We do something modern, which is based on historical systems. But we do something modern with the safety of the modern man.
Which final message and greeting will you send out to the Italian fans of the Magus?
Oh, I didn't realize you are Italian. That's why you spoke about Italian. Okay. Just to conclude a little bit from the systems, yes, Italy, actually for the weapon I study mostly, I love most, it's called the rapier. There are two schools, the Italian and the Spanish. Okay. Both of them are great. And also in the modern HEMA community, Italy is one of the biggest communities in HEMA in the world, together with Germany, maybe Scandinavia or Hungary, I'm not sure. But definitely, Italy is not only one of the biggest, but we have a lot of treatises from maestri from the past time. And so, in my opinion, the European tradition in arms is firstly held by the Italians, because they wrote a lot also, and then the Spanish and the Germans. Because most of the treatises that we have from maestros of the past are Italian. Okay, to the fans, be true to yourself. Try to support and find good music. Try to find the jewel in this storm of coins. Try to find the jewel. It's out there. They may not have a very nice video clip. They may not have the better sound concerning production.
Yeah.
But good music is out there waiting to be discovered. Don't get impressed by images, but look for substance and look for identity and creation, not copies.